Hello to you all and welcome to my presentation. Today's content is aimed at junior cycle students and will discuss a proposed history field trip to a local museum, the Jackie Clark Museum and Archive in Ballina, County Mayo. The contents of this presentation are as follows. Firstly, we will look at the rationale behind such a field trip. Next, we will look at the learning outcomes expected of the students for the day. Following this, we will look at an informative overview which will give you the museum location, its history and its contents. Nextly, we will look at the key skills and how they'll link into this field trip. And lastly, we will look at the cross-curricular links relevant to this field trip. So how will we bring in other subjects? So, with regards to the rationale for the choice of activity, the Jackie Clark collection is the most important private collection of Irish history material in public hands, which comprises over 100,000 items that span 400 years. This will give the students invaluable insight into the past. The collection includes artefacts associated with Theobald Wolfe, letters from Michael Collins, Douglas Hyde and Michael Davitt, which allows for excellent opportunity for junior cycle students to get a personal feel for some of the characters playing a central role in their Irish history studies. This trip will allow the students opportunity to take the learning experience outside of the classroom and will allow them to actively engage with the material available and practice on their key skills. Materials such as rare books, proclamations, posters, political cartoons, pamphlets, maps, hunger strike material and personal items from the leaders of the Rising will give the students an appreciation for primary sources and the ways in which they inform us about the past. It will also allow the students an invaluable opportunity to explore their local history. The learning outcomes for this presentation are as follows. Students will have a clear understanding for the rationale behind this field trip and why exactly it is relevant to their junior cycle studies. The students will see for themselves the relevance of historical materials to the history curriculum in terms of the ways in which they inform us of the past. The students will understand how it is that they will have an opportunity to develop on their key skills while participating in the field study. And lastly, the students will understand the cross-curricular links in terms of the ways in which this field trip will link to their other junior cycle subjects. So, just to allow for a brief overview. In 2005, this impressive private library of Irish history was uncovered here in Mayo. In accordance with her late husband's wishes, Miss Anne Clark gifted the Jackie Clark collection in perpetuity to the people of Ballina, Mayo and Ireland. Truly a national treasure, the Jackie Clark Library and Archives is now under the stewardship of Mayo County Council. Its discovery has been welcomed as an iconic attraction in Ireland, and a new centre of international importance for Irish culture and tourism. This vast collection, once only known to its creator, has now been made available to all. This incredible library has been discovered to contain over 100,000 items, spanning nearly 400 years of Irish history, with the earliest documents dating to the 1600s. In terms of location and what you can expect to see on the way, the former Provincial Bank on Pearse Street in Ballina was acquired by Mayo County Council to house the library and archive. It was proved to be incredibly well suited following its refurbishment. The character of the old building has been conserved, as you can see here in the top photo, and this, as well as the family home aspect and enclosed garden also on the presentation, have proved to lend themselves wonderfully to be an educational complex as well as a public amenity, which houses one of the largest and most important private collections of Irish history material globally. Just to dive briefly into Jackie Clark's background. He was born John Thomas Clark in O'Reilly Street in Ballina, County Mayo, in the March of 1928. He began collecting at the age of 14. His early teenage passion for collecting newspapers and journals was to evolve into an all-consuming pastime, as he acquired one irreplaceable document after another. Evidently an ordinary man, with an extraordinary passion for Ireland's history and love of his country. His collection is something for all. Its cohesion is that of Ireland, about Ireland, and the Irish. So, with regard to the material you can expect to see on the day, this treasure has its primary material as a rare book library, a newspaper library, a film archive, a photographic archive, a map library, and an archive of primary material with ancient manuscripts, illustrations, street literature, official government publications, and even illicit documentation. By sheer range and diversity, this library, interestingly, has no one political viewpoint. The 1798 collection is without compare, with the French cockade worn by Wolfe Tone, the father of republicanism, on display. The 1916 collection, more central to our current studies, contains personal and unique items from the executed leaders, including personal belongings of Tom Clark and Thomas MacDonagh, literary works by Joseph Plunkett, letters from Patrick Pearse and Sir Roger Casement, as well as vast amounts of unpublished material on the Rising. The film archive contains the only recorded moving images of historical events in Mayo and elsewhere during the 1950s and 60s. Without Jackie Clark's dedication and enthusiasm, such memories would remain memories and would be lost over time as a result. So, to briefly link back to our learning outcome regarding the key skills. The students will study the material available in the museum, formulating answers and opinions based on what's observed. This will link to your key skill, managing information and thinking. The students will be out and about with opportunity to socialise, which reflects the staying well aspect of the key skills. In terms of managing myself, the students will have individual responsibility for the included workbook. The students will have opportunity to work with others throughout the day through group and pair work included. In terms of communication, this is central to the field trip in that the students will be required to communicate with each other, the teacher, and the assigned museum coordinators on the day. The students will have opportunity to be creative in their interaction in the museum content, through sketching, and in their comparison of past and present. Central to this class trip will of course be our cross-curricular links. As you can see, I have linked in Geography, Art, English and Literacy and Numeracy. Geography will be acknowledged throughout the day through the examination of the general area using maps, which will lead to an increased awareness for the layout of the local town and will help the students develop on their map reading skills, which is also central to their junior cycle geography studies. Art will also be included in the day's tasks, with diagrams and sketches included in the museum workbook. English will of course be central to the tasks carried out by the students also, through the inclusion of reading and writing throughout the visit. Numeracy is acknowledged through the use of numbers and statistics, whilst keywords will link in with the literacy requirements. Jackie Clark set about collecting Ireland's history in its most natural state, so as to leave it for future generations to further delve into and explore. I feel this is a fantastic resource for secondary students, and it is truly inspiring in terms of the ways in which it depicts what is possible when one is interested in the past. History is a subject with huge potential, however it is through field trips such as the one proposed that we might successfully ignite interest in young people and show them the significance of primary sources to their knowledge of the past. With that I conclude. Thank you for listening.